Welcome, everybody. This is the Daily Whatever. I am Lawrence Winterman, the queer gigolo from who knows where. I've got two very special guests with me today. Introduce yourselves, ladies.
Karen?
Robin.
I'm Cousin It. It's Cousin.
Karen, Queen of the Whatevers, is Cousin It. Robin, introduce yourself.
I am the Good News Fairy.
Ooh.
With good news, like the Easter Bunny.
Excellent. Only comes once a year, good news these days.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining, everybody. I'm not sure that I can do my I'm not sure I can do my voice the entire time. It's weirdly exhausting trying to do that. But thank you for joining the Daily Whatever Saturday edition. This is Happy Funtime Good News. We are going to talk about only things that are good in the world today. And I am so delighted that while Dana is on her top secret mission to Iran, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. We've got Robin Wilding, comedy queen extraordinaire, joining us. I've got two cats in the background who are going to drive me crazy. And Queen of the Whatevers, Karen Marie Shelton, is here.
So in a strange string of events, Lawrence, you brought the pussy.
I brought the pussy. Right. Yeah. In a strange turn of events, I've actually brought the pussy.
And there's two pussies who are guests.
Well, yes, I would never characterize you that way. I'm a respectful man, don't you know?
Okay.
You're like, well, sure you are.
Okay. Now, Lawrence, do you have a pimp cane to go with it or a pimp cup?
I don't have a pimp cane, but I've got my pimp cup. It's full of raspberry whipple. Rum ripple, raspberry whipple.
Yum. I couldn't drink anything if I wanted to because I'm blind. I can't see anybody or anything, and I can't possibly drink because my hair will drown me. So.
Oh my, that's complicated. I got a complicated order over here on guest number 3.
Peter called you Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah, all right. I mean that tracks.
I think that needs a gay twist, like fabulous man Randy Savage.
Right, fabulous.
Yes.
Oh, all right. We're gonna have to experiment with that. I'm not sure that I've got that on demand. Oh, oops! I got a mute over here, and then we got to get started, my friends. Yes. Robin, I'm going to pick on you first. The point of today's show is we are going to share exclusively good news, and we will each have several stories. I don't think we need to vote on them because I don't know. The audience will decide at the end whether we're going to vote or not vote. I think everybody wins on Happy Fun Time Good News Saturday. But Robin, kick us off.
Just punch the hearts.
Right, that's right. Just punch the hearts. Like I say to my boyfriend, just punch that heart over and over again, baby. Somebody join Name the Tupelo Flash. That's good because I'm doing sort of a weird, like, quasi Elvis, gay Elvis, Randy Savage from wrestling thing. So thank you for joining Tupelo Flash.
Craig said you're Macho Man Randy Sachet.
Ooh. That sounds like a winner. I love it. Robin, start us off with good news story number 1.
Okay, so there are 2 eagles in the San Bernardino National Forest that became kind of famous a few years ago. They decided to set up a nest right next to a live cam. And so they've been on live cam for the last few years, and people have been following them. And it's this eagle couple who's been trying to have little baby eagles for a few years. And they just keep having just the worst string of bad luck, and it breaks people's heart every year. But this year they hatched, or they laid 3 eggs, and 2 of them survived.
Yay!
Now they're a happy family.
Oh, happy eagles! Happy Eagle Day, everybody! We're reclaiming the eagles from the horrible right wing.
Yay!
And so people have come together watching this live stream of their babies hatching, and it's just been so sweet. Everyone's just been full of love, and yeah, it's just the sweetest thing.
That is adorable. That is super adorable. That's good news to hear. All right, that's a good one to kick off on. Robin, there was a moment where hearts were flying up and you did this and it looked like you had big heart fingernails and it was seriously, I was like, oh my God, she really went all out with the fingernails.
Somebody do the hearts again. Let me see.
Yeah, quick, do the hearts. Everybody do the hearts. I'm doing hearts.
Me too.
Yes, that was fabulous. All right, I love it. I love it. Cousin It, Karen, Queen of the Whatevers, you're up next.
It must be Happy Baby Day because the story that excited me the most was Peppa Pig's mommy had a baby Peppa Pig sister. And so Peppa Pig now is a big sister to little baby Eva, who was born a couple weeks ago to great fanfare. It was on all the news media. Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig and Peppa Pig and her little brother are just thrilled with the new baby Eva. Everybody's celebrating. In fact, Hasbro, which has owned the Peppa Pig cartoon series forever, they're putting out special pictures and posters and all kinds of paraphernalia you can buy at Target and all over the place. But in the meantime, Peppa is getting used to being a big sister and she loves it. So I think that's very happy news because Peppa Pig is such a happy little pig and she has such a good attitude about everything and she helps little kids learn how to grow up and be good, happy people. So I think it's a very good news story from my side.
Excellent. So here's the question: is Peppa Pig real? I thought Peppa Pig was a cartoon.
She is a cartoon, but
Oh, okay.
she's a very human, she's very human. She talks like a human. She looks like a cartoon pig and she makes little snorting sounds sometimes. And she likes to roll in mud puddles, which is kind of pig-like, but she has a lot of human tendencies. So she's
I
kind of
mean,
a cross between a human and a cartoon, but Peppa Pig is big time,
to be
She's
fair, I
big.
look like a cartoon pig too, so I like to roll around in mud puddles. Congratulations, Peppa Pig. Amazing. All right, that is excellent. All right, it's my turn. Bear with me for a second as I actually find, the story that I want to read because there's a good one. There's a really good one that I want to share with everybody. Um, oh, I lost it. There's so many things. I have so many tabs open right now, you guys. Here we go. A drug with the potential to end the HIV pandemic, just created by Gilead Pharmaceuticals, approved by the FDA, launches in the US this week. It is a twice a year injection. So it's basically like an HIV vaccine. You just have to go twice a year to get the injection, and you're protected for the entire year against HIV. Could literally eradicate HIV in the world if everyone who is at risk just went and did this. We're keeping it good news, so I'm not going to tell you the price.
Okay. Don't tell us the price.
Not going to tell you the price. The price, not so good, but all the rest of it, really good, really good. So
Honestly, I always wondered why the world didn't celebrate that AIDS has been largely conquered. I don't want to say cured because it hasn't technically been cured, but compared to how it was in the 80s, and so when people were just mysteriously dying and people were, scared and everything. And now all of the, like the PrEP and the, low viral loads and the low transmission rates and all these new medications that are coming out to deal with it has basically completely moved it from being, a death sentence to just something that you work
right,
with,
yeah,
live with, try to
manageable.
avoid. But the world never took time to celebrate. Maybe there was some in the LGBTQ plus community, but the
No,
rest of the world, like, we didn't celebrate that win.
yeah, I mean, I would bet that people in the know would probably have said like it's still too soon, but you're absolutely right that HIV has gone from being the death sentence that it was when we were growing up into something that is could be a chronic manageable condition at this point, which is huge, and we should
Yes.
celebrate. And the fact that we have the technology now between this, quasi vaccine and regular HIV prevention medication like PrEP, we really could eliminate this disease. Like, if we put our minds to it, we could eliminate HIV within the next 10 years. If we got it into the hands of everybody who, was at risk, we would essentially completely shut down transmission. And
Right.
that would be incredible.
Yes. Very good news. Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll celebrate that
Let's go.
win. On behalf of the world, we'll celebrate the win.
Yay! Woo!
All right. This is going to be fun. Robin,
Yes.
you're up again.
That was fast.
I know, right?
Get ready.
Talk slowly,
Come on,
everybody.
girlfriend. Go, go,
We're
go.
going to run out of good news.
No, we're not. We will not.
Yeah, I thought these would go a lot quicker than, discussing like politics and stuff, which people tend to have a lot more to say about. But okay, so for my good news, it's also on the queer front.
Woo.
The first retirement home for LGBTQ plus people is opening in France, which is great because it's sort of this new trend that's hopefully taking hold. There's a number of them in the US. Canada opened its first one in 2022, here in Toronto, called the Rakai Center. And now they are starting to slowly spring up around the world. And it's just a place where people can retire and then eventually get more care in a community that they've always been a part of and surrounded by other people who, are similar thinking and in the same community, and caregivers who are allies, if not LGBTQ themselves. And I just think that's wonderful.
It is. That is great, great news. Very happy, good news.
Especially great for me because that's where I'm going to end up, everybody.
That's
Unless
where
somebody
you'll
buys a
You'll be
little,
the hot guy there. The
right?
most sought after person.
I'll be the
especially if
one
you wear
hitting
that
on
outfit.
the like attendance.
Yes, especially if you wear that outfit.
Right. Come over here, cutie. Sit on Grandpa's lap.
But it makes me wonder, like, are straighties going to try to get into it? Like, are they just going to be
Right. But
nursing it?
that's the fun retirement home. Oh,
It's the
man.
most fun one, and it's wonderfully decorated and
Right.
has the best joie de vivre. And
They have the best food. Because those gays aren't going to put up with bad food.
Oh, God, no. God,
Yeah.
no.
actually, Brandon just make a good point. It's especially good for so many of us who don't have kids to take care of us around the world.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Really good point.
Yeah, really good point. Brilliant.
I'm in that boat.
Yay.
Me too.
Yeah, come on over. That'll be the place where you're guaranteed not to get hit on by any kind of...
Me too. In fact,
It'll be the opposite of the villages.
I'm
You gay men and their female best friends.
Yes. Yes. We'll be there with you, Lawrence.
Yeah, I love it. That's perfect.
gay men and their hags.
Right. We'll come up with some nicer words. Hags as an older woman strikes a little too close to home. We'll come up with something nicer.
Yeah, definitely have something nicer, like a sweetie pie or something. How about a
Right.
sweetie pie?
Well, we've got time. We've got time to work on it, dears.
Okay.
We're not going there just yet.
Yes, not yet.
But when I do go, it's gonna be wonderful.
Right. Oh my God.
Smoke cigars.
Right. Karen, you're up next. What have you got for us?
Woo! Well, I have to tell you, I did not cheat by looking at Robin's sheet of her stories. I kept mine separate. In fact, I asked her if she wanted to talk about it, and she said, no, surprise me. So I'm going to keep surprising her. Okay, along the same lines as what Robin said, I'm very excited to announce that there is the Sports Bra in Portland, Oregon. And it's a lesbian-owned bar run by a chef. And it's dedicated to women's sports and, of course, lesbians. Everyone's welcome, but it's mainly for women who love women and who love to watch women's sports. And the way this whole sports bra started, and it really became popular about 3 years ago. It's been around for about 2 to 3 years. But it became popular because the owner, the chef, used to go play basketball with all her friends. And they would go afterward to a bar and they'd want to watch NBA women's sports, women's basketball. And they couldn't because when they'd go to the bar, it would always be turned on to the male sports and nobody would want to turn the channel. They'd be like, no, we're not watching, women play basketball. That's stupid. So they felt really left out because they loved to watch women's basketball and they could never watch it on a big screen at a bar and have fun with, their friends. And so the chef, who's, by the way, Vietnamese as well, which is kind of interesting because when she told her parents she was going to open um, a a sports bar and call it the sports bra, which is really cool. Her Vietnamese parents were like, "Is that going to be a lesbian bar?" And she said, "Well, not necessarily, but it sort of evolved into that." And she is a lesbian, and she's very proud and out and all that. So she's like, "I just want to support my sisters, and anyone else is welcome, trans, straight, whatever." And the bar is very popular. But what happened, which is really good news, is recently the founder of Reddit was reading how much trouble women had going to bars and being able to watch, female sports teams. And so he contacted the owner of the sports bra and said, "I'm going to give you the money to franchise around the United States." And so they are in the process of opening sports bras all around the United States. They're going to start out with 4 or 5, and then they're going to expand even further. But by her opening this sports bra, which was designated for women's sports appreciation and for lesbians and women's rights and, celebrating women, there have been other bars now that have been opening up. And one of the things that the sports bra does is they support other women. For example, most of the beers they have on tap are from women-owned breweries. And they have drinks that are on the menu that are dedicated to very famous female sports athletes. So instead of having drinks named after like male golfers or something like that, they're all named after female.
Right. Fuck Arnold Palmer.
Yeah. Fuck Arnold Palmer. So I think that's a really great story. It celebrates women. It celebrates LGBTQ. It celebrates, entrepreneurship and taking a risk. It's just a really great story all around.
Karen, Brandon says, sounds like sports bras have good support.
Good one, Brandon. Yay! I love the name. Don't you love the name? They call it the bra for short.
Yeah.
They go, "Hey, let's meet at the bra." I love that.
That is brilliant. I love it. I love it.
So kudos to them. Rah,
kudos
rah.
to them. That is fantastic. Okay, which one am I going to do next? There's so many. Here's a piece of good news. A new way of tackling homelessness is being experimented with in Mexico and Canada, Robin, and the UK, where they are giving newly homeless people, cash. And they're basically saying, take this money and use it to do whatever you need to do so that you can get on your feet again. So there's a trial being run at King's College London where they are achieving positive effects. They've got a pilot group of 360 people where they are basically giving them cash without any kind of like rules or bond or anything as to how they're supposed to spend it. And what they are finding is that the thing that everyone had always worried about, which was, oh, those people, they're just going to spend it on alcohol and drugs and cigarettes. They are not. They are not. They're using it to get themselves back on their feet, to get a place that they can live, to figure out how to get a job. So Canada is doing a similar version of this called the New Leaf Project. And they are giving 115 newly homeless people $7,500 Canadian to basically help them just find a solution, to help them get on their feet and find a place to live and find a job. So this is really exciting news. It's something that people have talked about for years. And it's finally being done in Canada and the UK and in Mexico, and it's seeing really positive results so far. So hooray for that. An actual way to kind of treat homeless people like they are people and give them dignity and respect and help them get themselves out of the situation that they got into. So that is amazing.
I noticed, though, that you did not include the United States in that list, and that does not surprise me, and it saddens me, but I would be shocked to hear that they were doing it here, wouldn't you?
We're only doing good news. Yeah. The bad news part is that Trump has instructed ICE to beat up newly homeless people and shake them down for whatever change they've
So
got
that
in
can't
their
be
pockets.
discussed. No. Bad news.
Yeah. So we're not talking about that one.
Okay, not talking about that. My
Yeah.
lips are zipped.
Oh my God, this is going really fast. I hope you have like 5 more stories to go. I do actually. Like I've got so many tabs open, it's kind of crazy. I thought I was
I
gonna have
have a
to
lot
pick
of
and
stories
choose, but
too.
I think we're gonna we're gonna go through all of them.
That's good, though. Good news
It
is
is good. There's a lot of good news. There's a lot of good news in the world, people.
and happy news.
Yes.
It's funny. It's funny. If you're not used to looking for good news, the feeds can be so negative, but they're like, if you start looking for it and start liking it, you'll be amazed how much starts coming up in your feed. Like
Right?
I did that on TikTok, which has an especially responsive algorithm. So I know so many people are like, oh, TikTok, blah, blah. But there's some really great content on there from scientists and doctors, and then just, people's unique experiences. And I follow a bunch of people who post daily good news. And honestly, it only took me watching one person and scrolling through some of their videos and liking some of their videos. And as soon as I went back to the feed, I started getting more good news. Algorithms understand if you respond to sweet things or if you respond to salty things.
Right.
And if you respond to salty things, it's going to push so much of that at you because there's a lot of it. And it gets a lot of traction in algorithms because people get pissed off by it and they share it and comment on it. Like, even if you hate something and you comment on it, it's pushing it further into the algorithm.
Right.
So if you ever hate comment, just know that the creator's sitting there going, thank you for the engagement, because that's only
Totally.
be shown to more.
And I respond to
Absolutely.
salty, I respond to bitter, I respond to sour, I respond to umami, all the flavors. I got them all.
Chocolate.
I especially respond to chocolate.
Who doesn't respond to chocolate?
I mean,
Oh,
really,
yes,
who doesn't
absolutely.
respond to chocolate?
Yeah,
I
you
have
can
a
have
big old
some.
bar of Tony's Chocolonely sitting in the kitchen. I want to go get it right now and just stomp it on camera.
You should. We should celebrate with chocolate.
Right. Everybody loves chocolate. It's happy fun time good news. Let's
Yes,
eat
and chocolate is
chocolate.
part of that.
You're not going to celebrate with olives?
I mean, olives are a special kind of thing, you know. Olives require appreciation and a little bit of ASMR. Am I right,
Yes.
Karen? A bit of olive juice. Mmm.
You know what? Peter was on my Love Stack, and he said, we were talking about you, Lawrence, and he said that his wife walked in while he was watching you do one of your olive love appreciation things. And he said he had to answer some hard questions.
You know, confidential to Peter, you love my olive ASMR videos, and you're trying to get with my muse. I heard you on Karen's Love Stack. Peter wants to fuck my muse, everybody, and I'm not exactly sure how they feel about that. And am I supposed to be there when that's happening? It all feels just a little too incestuous to me, Peter.
But isn't that good news that Peter wants to fuck your muse? That's good news, right?
I mean, let me ask them. I'm not even sure if they're on the market.
I think that might be how Peter's wife feels about it.
Right. Yeah, that's more concerning. Like if she walks in and sees Peter fucking my muse, like, am I there? And does she come at me with the knife? Because I'm really not clear how this is going to work.
It's very
Peter.
concerning.
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's a time for another cycle, everybody.
Yes.
Robin, what you
Go.
got for us?
Okay, this might not be news, but I just thought it was really cute. There's this man from Nova Scotia here in Canada that's out on the East Coast, and he's a social worker, but he retired. And the way he's decided to spend his retirement is going across Canada, and he sets up just a folding table and a chair, and he puts up a sign, and the sign just says, "You are not alone, I will listen." And he's just spending his retirement talking to people who need somebody to listen to, leaning on his skills as a social worker. I just thought that was adorable, and if more people did that, the world would be a better place.
It is very sweet. It's almost
That
like
is
there was a person that was going around hugging everybody. Remember the hugger? Some
Was
years
that
back,
part of like
he
the
could get
free hug campaign?
or
the free
was
hug.
it
Yeah, remember
Amity?
that?
The woman who was the
He
saint of
was a
hugging?
male. He was
Oh,
a
okay.
male, and he would go around the world hugging people who wanted to be hugged. Remember that? No, okay, that was
I
a while
I
back.
personally don't, but
But that reminds me of that,
But I
him talking to everybody.
but I remember back in the day, this was when I was, I don't know, late teens, early 20s. It was a huge thing that these free hug campaigns were just taking place, like, all across the world, and people would set up in, like, cities and towns, and they would just offer people free hugs, needed a hug.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I used to
That's
love that.
exactly it. Yeah, right, correct.
We don't we don't see that anymore. I guess maybe COVID killed it.
Could be,
right.
yeah,
Oh.
probably.
Mwah, mwah. Alert, alert. Veering into bad news zone.
Uh-oh.
But 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 to me, like, that feels like something Gen Z and Gen Alpha should be all over.
Right?
Like, that seems very on brand for them.
Yeah.
So I was kinda surprised that, like, that mantle didn't continue.
Well, maybe it will. Could possibly. That could be good news in one of our good news stories in the future, right?
Right, right. People heard this and they were inspired, and all of millennials and Gen Z decided to take up hugging.
Yeah. Oh,
Or fist pumping. Fist pumping
Brandon
with
just
hug.
Brandon just reminded us that Pride Fest usually have a group doing free mom hugs, and
That's
I've also
true.
seen free dad hugs as well here at the Toronto one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. There are also
Absolutely.
lots of free naked guy hugs at Pride
Ooh.
festivals, but that's a
I'll bet there are.
that's usually at the parties that happen afterwards, late at night.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That's good news too, right?
Yeah, good news. Good news. Yeah,
Naked cute boy
if
hugs.
you're into, naked hugs from strange men, good news. Good news, everybody.
Absolutely.
All right, Karen, Queen of the Whatevers, you're up again. What's yours?
Okay, so there's this zoo in Guatemala City, and they have all kinds of animals, and there's watering holes that are made with stone, and they're deep pits with water in them that are, make the animals feel like they're at home because it's that kind of watering pit. Anyway, there's these gazelles that, maybe they're not the brightest, but they when they go to the watering hole, they slip and fall in. And sometimes they can get out by themselves, but apparently the rocks are very slippery. And recently, a gazelle fell into the watering hole and was drowning and trying to get out, and all the other gazelles couldn't help. And there was an elephant nearby who saw the gazelle struggling. So the elephant came charging over to the waterfall. The water hole is a water hole with stones, and reached down and tried to get the gazelle out of the watering hole, and wasn't successful the first time, but then figured out a way to use their tusk and lift the gazelle out of the watering hole and saved its life. And it was caught on camera by a lot of people who were at the zoo, and they were astounded that this elephant just came. I guess the gazelles and the elephants are in the same enclosure, but came running over and saved this little gazelle who was drowning. And it was a really cool thing that happened. Very happy news. And people were like, wow, who knew that elephants had this, tendency to help other animals that were struggling? But then it came out on the news that a couple of years ago, a similar thing happened where another gazelle fell into a watering hole. And this time there was a different elephant. They didn't come over to save it, but they started trumpeting. They can make these really loud noises. And they started really making a ruckus. And one of the zookeepers heard the elephant, and the elephant kept going towards the watering hole. And the zookeeper said, holy cow, saw the gazelle, rushed over there, pulled it out, and saved its life, which was another really great story. But it's really good news that, animals take care of other animals in that way. And it really surprised me. I had no idea. So they're looking at redoing the watering holes because apparently the
I should say.
gazelles don't do so well around the watering holes. I don't know if the gazelles aren't the brightest gazelles on the planet or what's happening, but they're looking at redoing those, which is also good news. So there's 3 good news pieces to the story. And, elephants love other animals and will help them. An elephant can trumpet to save an animal, and they're talking about redoing the watering holes where the gazelles fall in. So,
Well, they're just talking about it, though.
well, yeah, but we can hope, right?
That is amazing. And Robin, my eyes are up here, okay? My eyes are up here.
That's what they all say.
I really feel like we should have cigars. It feels like we're missing something.
Yeah. Sorry. Next time I'll drop ship you some cigars and we can all have a cigar party.
I
We'll all
think that would
talk
be
in
a
a
really
croaky
good
voice
idea.
and be like, Robin, my eyes are up here, sweetie, okay?
What are you looking at?
Why are you looking at me so googly-eyed, huh? What's going on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right,
Ignorance is bliss.
we're gonna keep with the zoo theme. So where's my story? Where's my story? It could be any one of these tabs. I have no fucking idea. Good news, everybody, from Miami Zoo, which has apparently renamed itself Zoo Miami.
Very,
Goliath,
very classy.
135-year-old Galapagos tortoise named Goliath, who weighs over 500 pounds and was apparently born somewhere in the Galapagos Islands in 1885, roundabouts. We're not sure. Goliath has never fathered any little turtles before until now. Good news, everybody. Goliath becomes possibly the oldest father in all of history that we know about because
Mick Jagger.
right. Yeah, keep going, Mick Jagger. Apparently, he is paired with females many times before, but his little swimmers didn't work, except this time they did. And so he celebrated Father's Day for the first time in 135 years, successfully hatching a clutch of baby tortoises at the Miami Zoo.
Oh.
It's very sweet. Apparently, it's also the first time Zoo Miami has actually successfully, husbanded, whatever that's called, animal husbanded successful tortoise births at the zoo. So yay for everyone.
Yay
For all the turtles.
Mr. Turtle.
Although based on his age, once his little hatchlings start crawling around, he's just going to be sitting there like, get off my lawn.
Right. Hey, you kids, get off of my lawn.
He's going to demand a vasectomy. Do turtles get vasectomies?
An interesting question. That's your homework assignment, Karen.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. That would be, no.
That'll get you.
Unless you want to, that could be a book report in the Discord.
Oh, okay. A book report. Yes, I'll do that.
Okay. Oh, we did it again. All right. We're going around at least 12 more times.
Oh, 12 is good.
There's so much good news. So much good news. Robin, you're up again. Where's the wheel going to fall? It could be animals. It could be zoos. It could be homeless people.
It's going to fall in San Quentin.
Ooh. Prisons.
Yeah, so San Quentin has hosted its first annual father-daughter prom, so that the daughters of inmates came in, and they wore beautiful dresses, and they put the fathers in suits and ties, and they had this father-daughter dance inside of the state prison. And for some of the inmates, it had been years since they'd seen their daughters. And there was at least one guy who had actually never met his daughter because he'd been in prison for that long.
Wow.
And so they got to have this beautiful father-daughter little dance party in the prison, which I thought was really sweet because, well, pe- pe- people go to prison for a lot of reasons. Um, some people might deserve to be there. A lot don't. Like, for example, people going to jail for pot, in my opinion, is just sheer lunacy. Like, you smoke a little pot, and now the government's going to pay what, $80K a year just to house them instead of them being productive members of society. But putting that part aside, like, it can really tear apart families, and these children did nothing to deserve to not have, a parent in their life. So I thought this was really sweet. And it was actually based on another trial program that happened in 2024. And they made a documentary on it, which happened in Washington. And they did a similar thing. And it just really helped lift the spirits in the prison. And everyone behaved really well. And the daughters absolutely loved it. And the daughters were crying and the dads were crying. So if you see the videos, like, it's just so sweet.
Aw.
And that was San Quentin,
Yeah, that one.
California.
Yeah, but so the year before, Netflix put out a documentary of, about the first one that happened in Washington, and hopefully this becomes a new trend because honestly, it's especially wonderful for the daughters who get that special time. Although I think they'd have to have something equivalent for the sons as well.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Yeah,
Yes.
father-son dance probably doesn't go over so well in prison.
Maybe not that, but they can figure out something.
Right.
Maybe
right.
father-son pickup game. Maybe they could play father-son
Right.
basketball or something, or they could have a father-son crafts day where they like work on cars or something, right?
Yeah.
I know those dances are really special. I have three nieces that are all, between 8 and 11 years old. And every one of them went to a father-daughter dance. It wasn't a prom, but they went to a father-daughter dance with their dads. Oh my gosh, they look forward to it for weeks. They went
Yep.
shopping. It was like a bigger deal to them than like when I went to my prom years, eons ago. So I was surprised, and they all went and got their hair done and their nails done. And, it was for going to the dance with dad. So if they can do that for kids, for daughters who are, part of an inmate family, that's really special. That's a great story, Robin.
Yeah, I thought
Very
it was
good.
That is a great story. I've the chat is possibly veering off in a dangerous direction.
Oh, no. Really? I can't see. I'm blind. I have hair blindness.
Right? Oh no. Oh no. All right, Karen, you're up again. What have you got for us?
Well, it was a very bad story that turned out really good. And I want to mention it because this has been something I've been following for more than 2 years of my life, actually longer. It's not good news, but I like to write about true crime. And I have been following the Karen Reed story that was in Boston, that she's been really battling this situation now for a couple of years. In fact, she had one trial the jury was hung, and they immediately retried her immediately. Like, she didn't even have time to catch her breath. And she went through this whole long process, and it's been going on since January of this year, when they started all the pre-trial stuff. And the trial lasted for 8 weeks, and they brought in tons of different witnesses and experts. Anyway, she was found innocent of all charges, and there was some question about whether there was going to be any other stuff, but it looks like she's free and clear, and all her hard work. And she has been fighting really hard. She didn't give up at any time. Her family didn't give up. It cost a very large amount of money, but she said it was worth it because she wanted to stand up for herself, but for other women, because a lot of times women are railroaded in situations where they're not guilty, but they don't have the money or the power or the support. And she had tremendous support from women and other, like, LGBTQ and other groups in the country that came out that supported her. and she won. So I think that's something really good news. I've actually been celebrating it and talking to my friends going, hey, I'm so proud of her. I'm so glad she hung in there. And this is really a great win, I think, for women who wind up sometimes going to prison when they really shouldn't. And I hope she gives them, encouragement or the willingness to fight for their rights. So I think that's a really good story about women's rights and taking care of themselves and speaking up for people that are marginalized in any way. That's my story.
I love it. I had to make a hung jury comment, which I did in the chat. You can go over there and see how well that's landing. Very
Oh,
well.
I can't see. I have hair blindness.
Hair, right. Watching too much Good News Happy Fun Time can cause face blindness and meerkat hallucinations. So everyone be careful. Meerkats. Yes. Okay, here we go. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. In a groundbreaking moment for American medicine, surgeon at Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center, I think, which is in Texas somewhere, completed the
Houston.
first fully robotic heart transplant. Before you get too excited, the heart is not robotic. The robotic part is the surgery, where they were able to use those little robot, spider hands to go into the chest, remove the old heart, and transplant the new heart. But it is a breakthrough because it doesn't require the chest to be cracked and opened. They can go in and actually do it with the tiny little spider hands much better. But yeah, it's not a robotic heart, which got me excited from the headline. I think the headline writers around the world wanted to really have fun with robotic heart.
Yeah, push it a little bit,
I mean,
push the boundaries.
it worked for me. Like, it got me to click.
Good SEO.
Right. Good SEO. Good job.
Now that I can see a little bit through the spaces in my sunglasses and my hair, I think if you wore the outfit you're wearing anywhere in the world, you could pick up hundreds of men. I think you just really could. So I think you need to make that your permanent attire. That's
Are
just
we
me weighing in.
talking to Robin or to me?
To you. I mean, Robin looks stunning, but Robin always looks stunning. I mean, Robin has the whole package. She's blonde, she's beautiful, she has the eyes going, she has the chest, the bod, she's got it all. But you've got the
She's
hat
smart.
and
She's
the
funny.
boa. Smart, funny, sassy. But that hat and the boa really makes you, Lawrence.
That is fantastic.
Well, I'm experimenting with new looks. I was gonna do Santa Claus this winter, but maybe I'll just do Gigolo Pimp.
Santa
You know,
Claus. Are
yeah.
you going to be a Santa Claus? Did you get that job?
I mean, it's not a job. I'm just a friend of mine is making me a Santa suit, and I'm going to put myself out there and say, rent my body.
Ooh, rent me. That's good. If you wear that outfit you're wearing today with a little rent me sign, oh, you're going to clean up. I mean, you're going to give Fusan a run for her money.
Oh boy, whose turn is it to go next? Where are we?
Lawrence,
Robin.
Lawrence, first, if if you want to take that outfit to an even higher level, which I don't even know if that's possible, you could get that temporary hair color. It's just like a brush on hair color, and you could put it in your beard and do like a rainbow pattern to match the hat and the boa.
Yep, there you go. I'm working on my handlebar mustache thing here.
Perfect. It looks amazing.
Well,
So
thank you.
Amazing. Chef's kiss.
Well, I could probably braid somebody needs to teach me how to braid because I don't know.
Use a string mop. That's how you learn how to braid.
I've got two
No.
Aaron hairs here. I could do the same thing.
Ooh,
Ah.
Robin, you're up.
TMI.
What? I won't tell you where my errant hairs are, Karen.
Uh-oh. Yeah. I won't even envision that.
Yeah, don't.
Okay.
Don't.
Don't.
Okay, for my next story, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago in one of the chats, but I didn't share it with like everybody in general. And I just think it's such great news that I need to mention it again. Um, the first patient was treated with personalized CRISPR gene editing therapy at a children's hospital in Philadelphia, and it was this small child who had an incurable disease that was going to be fatal, and they used um, like DNA editing for the first time to be able to reverse the disease by changing her DNA at the molecular level, and now the baby's going to be okay.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Actual progress.
Yeah, and it's been years and years in the making of technology. So the fact that they're finally getting it in play now. So this was the first one, but honestly, like if they can really ramp this up, this is going to be the future of medicine.
Yeah. And I mean, to think you can go out to Target and get it like a salad crisper for like $12.99. That's that's
I love
incredible.
it. I love it.
Like I don't know if I can show you on my computer, but like this is the baby.
Oh,
Aw,
really sweet.
sweetie.
Oh, oh, wow, very cute. Great story, Robin.
Yeah, and let's hope that they can keep ramping up that testing. It's in the U.S., so we'll see. But um, if they keep ramping up these technologies, I mean, they could start changing the DNA of everyone who's born with a deficient type of condition.
Even while the mother's still pregnant, from what I understand, they're working on techniques where they could actually use CRISPR to repair things while the baby's still in vitro. I mean,
In
not in
utero,
vitro.
yeah.
Yeah,
In utero.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, in utero. Right.
Yeah.
That would be really great.
Yeah.
That is incredible. I am withholding all of the snarky comments I was thinking of right here. Like it
Okay.
could be used to cure disease. What it's actually going to be used for is to give male children extra big penises. Like that's
Ooh,
the way our society works. Female
ooh.
Yeah.
hormone therapy, they don't investigate that for 30 years, but Viagra was fast tracked through the FDA in like 3 months.
That's because
Yeah.
all the FDA scientists wanted it.
Right,
I,
right,
unfortunately, I don't disagree that probably the first commercial version of it is going to be to give billionaires giant penises.
right, right. Yeah, it's a
Then don't
deficiency.
work.
It should be so much bigger.
Actually, I saw a funny stat that so the things I do for research, but it was um so internet searches by state based on which state thinks they have the smallest penises, and Washington D.C. was ranked number 1 by a long shot.
Mm,
That's why they all drive big cars, right?
And that says a lot about
that tracks.
geopolitics, I
That
think.
tracks. Yeah. 75% of them were coming from the White House.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Karen, queen of the whatevers. What say you?
Yes.
What's your next story?
I have a really good one because, well, I know Robin's a dog lover, and I love both dogs and cats, but you love cats, and so does Dana. So
I mean,
my
I love dogs
story,
too. Are you about to use the story? Okay, keep going. I have a dog
no,
story next too.
no, this is a cat story. Meow.
Meow.
This is a cat story. So a couple, I don't know if they were a couple or they were just friends, but they were out climbing in Utah at Bryce Canyon. They were climbing and they slipped and fell, and they fell to their death to the bottom of the canyon. But they didn't know they were dead. They thought that maybe they were just injured or whatever. So they have these rescue people that either use helicopters or will climb down into where people fall, because it happens a lot. And so they climbed down there, and unfortunately, the two people, it was a man and a woman, a 45-year-old male and a 58-year-old female, and I guess they were just climbing together. They were climbing whatever that part of the gorge was. Anyway, when they got down there, this one guy who was the rescue guy noticed, well, actually, it was a woman named Chelsea. She noticed this backpack, and it seemed oddly shaped, and so she went over and opened it up, and it was a cat. one of the people had climbed down there and who had fallen had taken their cat in a backpack on their back. And when they fell, the cat fell with them. Well, they weren't sure whether the cat would survive or not, but the cat did survive. They took it by special carrier. I don't know if they helicoptered it out, but they took it to a emergency vet clinic. And the cat had 2 broken ribs and a bunch of other broken bones, but was basically okay. So they nursed the cat back to health, and they figured out by talking to the family that the cat's name was Mirage. But neither family of the 2 victims wanted to take the cat. They're like, no, we don't want the cat. So the person Chelsea, who rescued the cat, took it to the vet. Am I supposed to stop talking?
No, keep going.
Okay. The person that rescued the cat, Chelsea, when she found out that the families of the 2 victims didn't want the cat, she was heartbroken. And so she went back to the veterinary place where they were taking care of the cat and said, I will adopt the cat. And they did some DNA testing, I guess, plus they talked to the family. And they determined that the cat, Mirage, was 12 years old. And she said, you know what? I'm going to keep this cat and I'm going to adopt him. I guess it's a him. They decided it was him. She was going to adopt the cat and keep it alive and take care of it as long as it would live and make sure it had a happy end of its life. Because, cats can live up to 19, 20 years. Sometimes they don't. But anyway, she didn't have any pets, but she said, I'm going to take care of this cat and adopt it. And so that was a really sweet story, that she said, I felt like I saved the cat's life. So I felt like it was my responsibility to take care of it. So she adopted it. And that's the story.
Perfect timing.
But you missed the story. And it was one that I picked for you.
Aw, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Here's the thing. Here's my weird news, personal news that I'm sharing. I've recently been diagnosed with diabetes. And,
oh, no.
Well, I mean, it's great because I'm going to get that drug and insurance is
Oh.
going to pay for it.
Ozempic.
So good news, everybody. But oh my God, I cannot stop drinking water and I can't stop peeing. And the moment where I'm like, I have to go pee right now. Otherwise, I'm going to pee myself while listening to Karen's cat story. So.
Oh, well, that would not be good. That would not.
No.
The cat.
Welcome to aging.
Yourself,
Right,
and I wouldn't. And Robin, the smell would be, terrible. And everybody in the chat could smell it. So,
yeah, I mean, because we've got smell-o-vision going. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have smell-o-vision. That would be good news if that was coming out right away.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm old is what I'm saying. I'm old and I've got the diabetes.
Cigar, but you're going to get Ozempic, so that's good news.
I'm going to get the one that's better than Ozempic is the one that I'm getting.
Mounjaro? That's a really good one.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Karen, for talking the precise amount of time that I needed to be able to make.
Oh, yeah.
an
I
escape.
had that timed in advance. When I was looking for the story, I said, how long can I do a cat story so that Lawrence can go pee?
Yes. The parts that I heard, I loved. The cat lived. Somebody adopted the cat.
Yeah. Bottom line,
everything is good. Okay, let's do another animal story. Jesus Christ, I have so many tabs open here. It's kind of crazy. I should close the ones that I'm done with.
Just hope your computer doesn't crash.
A miracle. In a truly incredible turn of events, a missing dog named Black ended up hiding in the frame of an 18-wheeler truck in Houston. And the truck drove 40 miles from Houston to Hempstead. I don't know where Hempstead is, but maybe you do, Karen, because...
Yeah, I do. I know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
I don't even know what 40 miles is.
Trapped, right? Yeah, it's ickety-doo kilometers, Robin. It's either...
No, I know.
30-ish kilometers or 50. I don't know which way the conversion goes. I
start
always
walking.
forget.
You'll get there.
My miles are longer. So, for example, 100 kilometers is 60 miles.
Right. Okay, so it's like 170 kilometers or something. I don't know. I'm just tripling it and throwing some extra on.
I got it.
Anyway, Black, the dog, was entirely trapped in the vehicle's undercarriage the entire time, terrified.
Oh, God.
but he's safe. They found him when the truck driver pulled over. They were able to get him out. They scanned his microchip and they confirmed that he belonged to another big rig truck driver who had recently adopted him. So the puppy was okay. He was unharmed. He was reunited with his owner and happy to be home. So a small miracle happened here.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Yeah.
Reunited and they understood. Don't put your dog inside a truck wheel.
Because it may die. And that would not be good news.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
The dog
Okay.
barked.
Oh my
How do
God.
we know the dog was in there?
I don't know the answer to that story. I could click a link deeper and probably
No, that's
find
your
out.
homework. That's your homework. I'll be researching.
Yes, that is my homework. Well played, Karen.
I'll be
Queen of the whatevers.
turtles.
Well played by you.
Yay. Okay.
She's like, don't assign me homework, Papa Bear. You get homework
Papa
too.
Bear. Yeah.
Some bitch.
Yeah.
I'm going to bounce before somebody gives me homework.
Yeah, right. Now it's your turn. One more round. One more round. One more round.
One more round.
Okay. So this one is about animals, but not pets. There is a new program underway where researchers are using old phones because the world produces like 1.2 billion phones a year, and
Crazy.
and people often replace their phone every few years. And these old phones, if they're not stacked up in your drawer like they are with mine, like I've got a bunch of them, then they get just thrown out in a landfill. But there's a lot of products that go into these phones, and rare elements and all of that. So instead of having them go into landfills, researchers are using them to turn them into devices that track marine life underwater, so that they can better study how marine life is going, and track school sizes and ocean temperatures and all of the aquatic things that are happening in the ocean. They can turn these cell phones with the help of a 3D printer into basically a mobile tracking underwater thing. I thought that was cool.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
That's definitely much better than them just sitting in our drawers or filling up landfills with all of the different chemicals and stuff they put in them. So
very good. Excellent.
Karen, you're up next.
Okay. So we're on animals, good things about animals. Okay. So recently, scientists in the UK partnered with scientists in Brazil who had found these rare doves with blue eyes. They're very rare. In fact, there's only 11 left in civilization. They're very rare. And the Brazil scientists had discovered these doves, and they, like, Robin was talking, they had kept having eggs, but they weren't hatching because of a variety of things. So the Brazilian scientists asked the UK scientists to come and help them, and they literally took the eggs and watched over them and made sure they hatched. And they did, and they had healthy little babies. And so now they have a methodology where they're going to be able to repopulate these very rare doves that live in Brazil that have bright blue eyes. And it's a big success story for, the partnership between the Brazilians and the UK people, and also for finding animals, birds that are about to become extinct and reintroduce them into the world. And they have beautiful blue eyes. So that was a really good thing.
Do they cry?
No.
Oh, poor Prince will be so disappointed.
But
yeah, well, he's not here to worry about it. I thought that was a really good story. If that's not good, I have one about a cat that was lost for 16 years.
But I love the story about keeping recessive genes around.
Yeah, blue eyes, blue-eyed doves. I mean, I really want to see these blue-eyed doves now. That's amazing.
Well, do your homework and you'll find them. I'll send you a link.
Oh my gosh, everybody. Karen has canceled her love stack of me. She is going to drag me the next time she gets alive and talks about me. Okay, I'm going to...
You'll be her first hate stack.
Uh-oh.
Love-hate stack,
If
love
I
hate
ever
stack.
go missing, there's a true crime story just waiting to
Oh,
happen.
absolutely. I'm going to get double my money because I'm going to do a love-hate stack, and then I'm going to drag your body, and then it'll be a whole story, right?
Wow. He's really thought this all the way through.
Lawrence, if anything happens to you, my mind's going straight to Dana. I don't know what kind of weird shenanigans she's on with this Iranian flight, but she's sus.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
she's with an Iranian prince.
Could be.
It's
It
a
could
great way to
be.
start.
Yeah, an Iranian prince.
I'm not allowed to talk about it, so I can't say anything.
Okay, zip.
I heard it was a Saudi sheik, but close enough.
Oh, that could be it. Maybe she
Ooh.
said Iranian to throw us off track, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
It's getting dark pretty seriously. Here's my story to wrap us up right at the top of the hour.
Happy.
On Friday, June 20th, Ukraine and Russia did a prisoner swap. Many Ukrainian defenders, some of whom had been captured and in captivity for the last 3 years, were returned home. And it included folks from across the Ukrainian armed forces, like all of the branches of the military, and from around the country. And was really several of the people had pretty serious conditions like epilepsy, heart disease, vision impairment, and other issues that really needed treatment. So it's a great piece of news and something that we have kind of forgotten about the Ukraine war, that that these people have been returned safe and sound. Although, they're prisoners of war, and so they've probably got some issues to deal with. But it's good news that even amidst the ongoing Ukraine war, prisoners of war could be returned, and they've made an agreement to return 1,000 more prisoners of war.
Oh, wow, 1,000?
Awesome.
1,000 more on each side. Yeah.
Oh, that is perfect because
Yeah.
those families have been missing their loved ones.
Absolutely, it's a big deal. All right, everybody, this was kind of amazing. Thank you to my incredible co-hosts, Karen, the queen of the whatevers, Robin, the fabulous and unimitatable Robin Wilding. Thank you for joining me today in this Happy Good News Fun Time show. And tomorrow's Sunday, so we're off, but Dana and I will be back next week. Maybe we'll have a schedule, maybe we won't. Who knows?
Well, thank you.
Hey,
thank you.
Why about the seat of your pants?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us and for letting us whack Dana for a day and send her off on an international flight to go visit Iran so that we could hijack the show.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
The CIA swoops in and tells her when she's got to do it and what she's got to do. So, thank you for being able to, fly by the seat of your pants and come join me here for this Good News Roundup. It was super fun. Thank you both so much. Thank you, everybody. Mwah.
Thank you.
Love you, mean it.
Bye.
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 Bye.